The Chicago Bears are making moves, and they're not slowing down. From securing their offensive line to bolstering their pass rush, big decisions are being made. Jonah Jackson gets a fresh extension, Joe Thuney could be next, and the defensive line still needs reinforcements. Ryan Poles knows what it takes to build a contender, and with free agency winding down and the draft approaching, Chicago's roster is starting to take shape. But is there more to come? Let's break it all down. Big news for the Chicago Bears as we wrap up the first week of free agency. Out of nowhere, Jonah Jackson gets a one-year extension as part of the trade with the Rams. That was first reported by Mike Garafolo, and now we know he's locked in through 2027. The deal also includes some guaranteed money in 2026, $7 million, plus additional injury protections. Now, we already knew Jackson was set to make $17.5 million this season under the contract he signed with the Rams. But the extra year and new guarantees, that's fresh information. What we don't know yet is how this impacts the Bears' cap situation in 2027. No numbers have leaked yet, and sites like SpotRack and Over the Cap haven't picked it up. Maybe Chicago worked out a team-friendly deal to extend him, but that remains to be seen. What this move does show is that the Bears fully believe last season was just a fluke for Jackson. When he was introduced to the media, both head coach Matt Eberflus and GM Ryan Poles made it clear. They think his struggles last year were due to the Rams trying to move him to center, plus the injury that cost him training camp. In their eyes, that was just a bad year, not a sign of decline. Jackson is 28. He knows Ben Johnson's offense, and the Bears believe he'll bounce back. Johnson himself even called him a Pro Bowl-level guard, so there's confidence there. And with this move locking Jackson in for another year, you have to wonder, is Joe Thuney next? He's in the final year of his contract. He's 32, but he's still playing at an elite level. First-team All-Pro last year. Offensive linemen are playing longer these days, so keeping him around makes sense. The question is, what kind of deal would it take? Does his agent push for him to be the highest-paid guard in the league, or does he settle for top-5 money? Something like 2 years, $42 million, $21 million per year seems reasonable. Maybe $30 million guaranteed. That would put him among the top-paid guards while still making sense for the team. We'll see how it all plays out, but for now, the Bears are making moves and showing confidence in their offensive line. Looking ahead, the Bears have a chance to create some stability on the interior of their offensive line. Right now, Drew Dalman is on a 3-year deal. Jonah Jackson is on a 3-year deal. Joe Thuney? He's on a 1-year deal. If they extend him for 2 more years, suddenly, all 3 linemen are on the same timeline, and the team has flexibility for that 3rd year if needed. Bottom line, locking in Thuney makes sense. He's still playing at a high level, and this move would solidify the line through at least 2026, possibly 2027. It wouldn't be surprising if an extension happens soon. The Bears clearly see him as part of their future, and a 2-year extension would line up perfectly with the rest of their core. Now, shifting gears, Chicago is bringing back tight end Stephen Carlson. He's bounced between the practice squad and the active roster the last couple of seasons. Last year, he got promoted but suffered an injury in practice, landing him on IR for the rest of the year. Now, he's back in the mix. Realistically, Carlson is probably a depth piece. If the Bears keep 4 tight ends, he could make the roster, but he's more likely battling for a practice squad spot. The team still needs another tight end, whether it's a free agent or a draft pick. Right now, Cole Kmet is the clear TE1. Durham Smythe is more of a blocker, and the team doesn't really have another reliable receiving option at the position. Expect Chicago to add another pass-catching tight end at some point, likely through the draft. Let's talk about the defensive line. Ryan Poles was asked about the pass rush as the Bears introduced new signing Dayo Odeyingbo. His response? He likes where the group is, but isn't shutting the door on more additions. Here's what he said. "We all watched the Super Bowl. You want to have waves of pass rushers. You can't have enough pass rushers. We're always looking to add and improve that group. but I feel good about where we're at today. If the right guy is available at the right price, the Bears will make a move, but don't expect any big money. That said, I still think another edge rusher is coming. Maybe that happens in the draft. There's a deep class at both edge rusher and defensive tackle, but I wouldn't rule out a veteran addition either. One big reason? Odeyingbo's versatility. This move feels like a souped-up version of the DeMarcus Walker signing. He can play inside, he can play outside, and if the Bears use him at multiple spots, that opens up more opportunities to add another edge rusher. Right now, they're hoping Austin Booker takes a step forward. If Dominique Robinson sticks around, maybe he sees some snaps, but at this point, that feels unlikely. Could Daniel Hardy carve out a role? Maybe. But realistically, the Bears need to bring in another guy. Ideally, Booker would be the third edge rusher in the rotation, but if he's not ready for that kind of workload, they need a more experienced option. There are still some solid veteran pass rushers available. Someone like Zadarius Smith would be a great fit. He's still playing at a high level. Von Miller could bring speed off the edge. Charles Omenihu has the size and power Dennis Allen likes. The Bears were interested in Matthew Judon last year. Maybe they revisit that. Other names like Dante Fowler, Emmanuel Ogbah, or even a versatile vet like Calais Campbell could make sense. And of course, the draft is another option. The edge rusher and defensive tackle classes are both strong this year, so the Bears have options. The question is whether they want to add experience now or roll the dice on a rookie. Either way, expect another move at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears draft both an edge rusher and a defensive tackle next month. Ryan Poles made it clear. He watched the Super Bowl, and he knows you need waves of pass rushers to compete at the highest level. Offensively, they've addressed the line. Mission accomplished there. Defensively, they've added two solid players in Grady Jarrett and Dayo Odeyingbo, but there's still work to do. They need more depth, and I wouldn't be shocked if 2 or 3 more additions are coming. Maybe that's 1 more free agent and 1 in the draft. Maybe it's 1 free agent and 2 draft picks. Either way, they're not done yet. A lot of it depends on how they feel about guys already on the roster. Can Daniel Hardy be a rotation piece? What about Zach Pickens? If they believe in those guys, maybe they only add 2 more new players. But if they have doubts, then I think we're looking at 3 more signings. 1 edge rusher, 1 defensive tackle, and maybe a second at one of those spots. If I had to pick, I'd say edge rusher is the bigger need right now, especially if Odeyingbo is going to slide inside at times. With Jarrett in the mix, the interior is in decent shape, so maybe they take a defensive tackle late in the draft, but I'd expect a bigger investment at edge, whether it's through free agency or an early round pick. That's it for now. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Plenty of content coming, including a post-free agency mock draft, so stay locked in. Bear down,